Hello, and welcome to Health and Fitness Redefined. I am your host, Anthony Amen. Join me today as we take a dive into the world of health and fitness, where we learn how to overcome adversity, depict fact versus fiction, and see health and fitness in a whole new light. Today, we have two amazing guests on our show, all about surviving the holidays. Yes, that means you that just stuffed your face during Thanksgiving. Welcome to this very special episode. First up, we're going to introduce Heather. Heather, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on. My name's Heather. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm currently a graduate student doing some research on vitamin A. And I also host my own podcast with my colleague who's another dietitian. It's called Nutrition Mythbusters. You guys can check that out.
And she'll tell you how good turkey is for you. Anyway, Colin, welcome to the show, buddy. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Yes, sir. My name is Colin. I'm pretty much like your average Joe. Worked my way from really big to getting there, working on myself, getting stronger every day. I run a Facebook group for sports cards, something that's blown up this recent year with the pandemic and everything. But with that being said, it's tough. I'm trying to do my best to stay healthy and fit as your average Joe, so to speak.
Yeah, so we got a dietitian. You all know what I do. And we got Colin as a kind of our average Joe here. So we're going to ask some pretty interesting questions as pertain to the holidays. And for those that may or may not realize it, the holidays basically start November 1st and run all the way to January 5th. So it's not just 1 or 2 days. It just seems like every weekend is a holiday party, holiday stress, holiday shopping, holiday giving, holiday family. I can go on. But let's kind of talk about that first interesting topic and how it plays a role. I'm going to lead this first up to you, Colin. I know you said you're a father, you have a kid. Just tell us a little bit about the stress. I just want to hear, it's November, it's after Thanksgiving, Christmas is like 3 weeks away. What kind of stress does that put on your life, and how does it affect your well-being as a kind of every other American does?
Yeah. No, it makes things a bit more tough. So I have two kids actually.
Oh, 2 kids. Wow.
I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Yeah. So I'm getting them out of the way while I'm young. But it makes you kind of have to organize things a lot better as you normally would for just like yourself or like your spouse. So when it comes to this time of the year, got to buy your presents in advance. Make sure all your family events are all coordinated, so to speak. And when it comes to, eating and workouts, it makes it a lot tougher. So I work in the morning, actually. So I go to the gym at like 4 a.m. right before to like start my day off. So I get my workout right out of the way about 5 days a week right now. And then as it comes to the meals, I use a couple of different apps to plan out my meals and count my calories to make it a lot easier on myself. And Thanksgiving, is usually pretty good for me because I'm able to avoid those second and third plates like most people are unable to most times. I'm sure you know about that when it comes to like your family,
I
sweet
have zero
potato
self-control.
casserole. It's hard. It's hard, isn't it? It's tough. I mean, we've all been there before when they bring out, the sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, and then you want to see all the turkey and stuffing. I'm not a humongous fan of all that stuff, so it makes it a bit easier. But I've dived into a lot of different recipes, and I watch a lot of content on YouTube that allows you to try like anabolic recipes, which I actually really enjoy. So that's helped me.
Well, I gotta call you out on something.
Sure.
Right off the get-go, you said that you plan your gifts in advance. I'm sorry, one dude to another, that is not our thing. Generally, it's like last minute Christmas Eve, we're shopping just to kind of grab the gifts, and we're going out of our minds because our wives are yelling at us. Where do you get the food? The gifts yet? What's going on? I understand.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I used to be that way too until you're trying to like budget everything too. You have all these elements going in to factor that in. And it's just so much easier to do it like months in advance. Okay, we're getting pictures for grandma and grandpa. We're getting a toy for the cousins or whatever. It makes it so much easier because when you dive into December, you're not stressing about money or buying gifts. So I get that all the way so I can focus on myself and what's going on at home. It's just easier that way. It took a while to get there, but I think eventually when you're in that mindset, when you do have kids, you'll kind of understand what I mean, because I don't like to plan either.
Well, I appreciate the honesty, and hopefully I can get right on your page too. But Heather, I kind of want you to talk to us a little bit about what stress does to the body, how, especially during the holidays, people's stress levels go from a normal of 5 or 6 to like a 25, 30 out of 10. So just explain to us how that plays a role in metabolism and general well-being, and kind of ways they can get rid of that and help kind of calm them maybe down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So stress runs rampant in our society, as we all know very well. And it just ramps up a little bit more during the holidays. And what a lot of people probably don't think about is how stress does impact the body. It does impact our metabolism. If you think about it, when we're stressed out, the body secretes its stress hormones, right? So we start secreting cortisol, which is our main stress hormone, which is associated with different disease progressions and pro-inflammatory type of things. But more importantly, your body is reacting as if you're getting chased by a bear, basically. So it's it's keeping that blood sugar high, because what the body thinks is going on is you're stressed out because you need to survive. You're stressed out like in a state of nature. It doesn't know you're like at the mall in line for your Starbucks and someone like just cut you. And so your body's like prepared at any moment to like sprint, to fight, whatever. And so when we keep ourselves in that state for such a long period of time, it can be bad, because we still have high blood sugar, and the body's just ready in that fight or flight response. It's not ready to like store energy. It's ready to like burn it, but we're not necessarily doing that. So
well, what are some ways people can kind of get rid of cortisol? I know something we've talked about previously on the show is, most people don't know this, but lack of sleep releases higher levels of cortisol. Or even on the flip side, staying up too late, because then your body's like, why am I up so late? Let me crave some sugar. And you're like, ah, and you just don't realize it. So give us some like tips and pointers to help not be so stressed.
I mean, yeah, first and foremost, like stay on a consistent sleep schedule as much as you can. Like, as hard as it feels, like you want to stay up all night and watch Christmas movies or whatever, go to bed at the same time every night as much as you can. Exercise, again, is huge. Like for me, at least, I know when I'm stressed out, the first thing I want to do is like go to the gym and like get my heart rate up, because that does help, because you're kind of doing what your body's expecting and like moving. And lastly, I just feel like taking time to breathe. Like after in these busy lives, we have to like take time to sit back and like be by ourselves. Don't like take time to have a meal without staring at your computer screen. Take time to like talk to someone without having some texts open on your phone. And I think just slowing down is super important for that.
Yeah, definitely love that advice. And we're going to throw this a little bit, because I know this whole episode can be divided into so many different things. But Colin, I want you to tell us, first quick question. When did you start taking health and fitness seriously? When was that like? And when did that start for you?
So I started getting really into like, my personal health and fitness right around early January. So like where I live, there's what we call a 5-star nutrition, pretty much like a GNC kind of place. And they had a competition going on, like whoever can lose the most like body fat or gain the most muscle will win like an entry for like 10 grand out of like 2 months. So it's like a 2-month thing. So I was like, okay, I want to try and see what I can do. And, I started going to the gym almost every day, working out twice a day. I go home and work out when I got off work too. And I just wanted to, test myself emotionally, physically, try new recipes, and not try like your average diet, because a lot of people fall into this trap of, I can only eat salad. I can only, drink nothing but water. And I was hooked on like protein shakes to start my day off, focused on like a lot of protein, trying out keto, trying out, no carb. I was back and forth on a lot of different things, just trying to test out what worked for me. And, within 2 months, I was down almost like 8% of like body fat. And now I went from like 255 to 225 in like 2 months. And it was like almost easy at that point. I just had to like stay like dedicated. And honestly, throughout this pandemic, I, put a good amount back on with the gyms closing up, and I kind of like lost my routine and how that went. But now it's like I'm restarting back up to, I have certain goals I want to reach, but it's just all about staying, committed to, what you want to do and having fun with it too, because a lot of people just get bored with diets and working out.
Yeah. So give me an example pre-Colin getting healthy Thanksgiving and pre-Colin getting healthy Christmas. What kind of food you were eating? What was the norm of what was on the table? Just a little brief example so we can get more of a visual from it.
Yeah, so I start my day off every day, usually like a protein shake.
Before, I'm talking before.
Tell me before.
Before, like I wanted to know what Thanksgiving was like, what Christmas was like before you got healthy. Back, like Colin doesn't care about protein shakes.
All right, we're gonna reveal some dirty little secrets here, I guess. So I ironically I manage a donut shop.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
It's
oh my
super
gosh.
tough. It's super tough. So maybe I'll have maybe 1 or 2 donuts, to be honest. So there goes a lot of calories right there. Start a day with a couple of donuts, 1 or 2 donuts, whatever. Lunchtime, there's a little Mexican restaurant right next door. Pop in there, grab a burrito bowl. And then dinner times, it just depends on the night. If the kids are, hungry and want their drive-through, I might hit McDonald's depending on the day, or I might cook. It just kind of depends on what everyone's doing. So it'll either be between like making like chicken at home and like broccoli and rice, or it might be like a night at McDonald's. It just depends on how everyone's feeling, everyone's doing. So it's just tough. I've fallen in that trap. We all fall in that trap, but I'm trying now to, avoid takeout as much as I can and donuts.
I mean, since you own a donut shop, I'm sure the smell of cooking donuts either gets you sick or you're like, wow.
It changes every week.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. So, Heather, let's talk a little bit about, I really want to talk about specific meals because I mean, everyone can kind of say the same thing where Thanksgiving is focused around turkey, cranberry, stuffing, mashed potato, sweet potato casserole, and then you got Christmas Eve, depending if I'm Italian, so it's 25 million fishes on Christmas Eve. I don't even eat seafood, but it always is. And then Christmas Day is basically Thanksgiving on crack. So what's something as somebody who wants to, like, it's the holidays. I'm never going to say eat super strict on things, but
yeah.
What's like something they can keep in mind as a conscious thing to really help them kind of have that little edge up and leg up so they don't feel as bad going into it?
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I would never tell my clients like not to indulge in something on Thanksgiving. Like I'm a huge proponent of balance and enjoying time with your family and whatever. Like I know personally back when I was in like deeply rooted in like fitness diet culture, I would like skip breakfast on Thanksgiving, but then like by the time the actual dinner comes and you're like, all right, I saved all my calories for the day, I'm ready to like go hard, then you eat so much that you're just like uncomfortable. You eat probably way more than you would have to begin with. So first of all, don't do that. Don't starve yourself.
I have a confession. This is
Yeah.
why Thanksgiving morning is my hardest workout ever. So I burn so many calories. I get so hungry that I can eat like 6 servings, but I didn't say that on air. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, we all have our own process, but if you're looking for like little things you can do to maybe make yourself feel a little bit better, like for me, now that I don't skip breakfast and I don't skip like whatever before the meal, you're like a normal amount of hungry, right? So just think about how you would eat a normal meal. Like really listen to your hunger and your fullness, and you don't feel like the food's not going anywhere. Your mom cooked a 30-pound turkey. You're going to be eating it for weeks. Like there's no reason that
You've never hung out with my family.
You got to go in before
it's gone if you don't eat. There might be a little bit left, but my mom makes this stuffing that is, I can't even put into words how good it is, probably because it has 6 pounds of butter in it, but it's so good. It's so like homemade, and It's gone the second it hits the table.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to
Okay.
really indulge, you wait till she, like that secret batch she hides, you wait for that. And then you're like, okay. And then you'll eat more of that.
Now I can have seconds. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what kind of a competitive family you're in. But I would say like that kind of thing, like just really think, am I gonna feel like complete crap after this if I continue to eat? And it's all about like comfort for me now. But also you can always like make sure you're hydrated, like drink water throughout the day, because that can make you feel more hungry, and that can also like leave more room in your stomach physically to fill with food. And yeah, like just thinking about a normal balanced meal, like Thanksgiving foods are not necessarily the worst. Like you're eating lean meat, you're eating vegetable dishes.
I'm sorry,
So-
stuffing with 6 pounds of butter in it and who knows what else she puts in it. Definitely not good for you.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like it's worth indulging in the one day. It's just don't go overboard with the portion sizes, is what I would say.
Definitely. Yeah, don't be an Anthony. All right. So Colin, I want to tell us a little bit about, I know you said you're out in Illinois. So give us a little bit about tradition out in the Midwest, about what you guys do. Is there anything specifically during all of December that maybe, is it like big festivals? Is it corporate events? Like, are you always out and about, or is it just all about taking care of the kids during this time? And do you feel like time for Colin is out the window?
I feel like now it's kind of out the window, which is to be expected. I have, years of experience to kind of be patient with that. But no, even before though, there wasn't a whole lot going on. I don't think, not a whole lot of events. I mean, you might have like some lights and parades, but it wasn't like a thing to do every day. You might get lucky and take the kids out if they're not crying or yelling and go do something with other family members. But most oftentimes you're pretty much just like nestled up at home, uh, milk and cookies. You're getting all ready, getting all fancied up, got your little footy pajamas up, got Santa Claus and all that. And just watching Christmas movies, pretty much the entire month. That's at least what I do. I always spent watching, we have Disney. So we're watching, Halloween movies, all month, all the Disney classics. And we'll be doing the same thing, come December and everything. So we're pretty much just at home, not doing a whole lot, which actually makes it a little bit harder on me because I'm just, right by the refrigerator, seeing what I can pull out of the fridge and just eat.
Yeah, I mean, eggnog always seems to be the thing that's front and center in a refrigerator, or maybe that's just me. But I can't even have milk, but it's always eggnog or apple cider, and you're just like, all right, where's literally anything else in this refrigerator right now? That's what it feels like.
Oh yeah, even like there's a huge pumpkin patch near where we live, and they're known for like their apple cider donuts and their apple cider. So I think I made a trip, almost every week the past few weeks, just getting it for my fiance. She's like, make sure you stop and get cider and donuts, and then they're gone after 2 days. So it's like, what was the point of me even making that trip?
Yeah, and here comes the stress part I was talking about, making bad decisions. That actually, I'm going to scratch the holidays start November 1st. The holidays start October 15th, because this, like, especially out here, like you were saying with the pumpkin picking, Long Island, you can't go out east because the traffic is dead stop. And that's the only time people go out there. Otherwise, it's just land. And she's like, all right, pumpkin season, obviously, apple cider donuts, vineyards, and then more apple cider donuts. But I just feel like it starts when you hit that fall. And I'm going to ask you, Heather, a very, very tricky question, because I actually don't know the answer to this and I want to learn.
Okay.
Do you think there's some kind of relationship with, if we go back thousands of years, right before holidays or whatever, when the weather started getting cold, we knew in order to stay warm, we had to fatten up. Is there some kind of relationship to the way we eat and feel like we need to do because the weather's getting cold and it's in our nature, or that's totally made up in my head and I'm going crazy? Both answers are valid. Why don't you answer that one for me?
That's actually a really interesting point. Well, I mean, if you think about it, we're already wired to choose those like high fat, high carb foods, those things that taste amazing, like a cider donut or whatever it is, because of that, because humans in a state of nature would not know when they were going to get their next like food source. And so when we see something high in calories, high in energy, we're like, I need that, I want it. And that's going to like help you survive. I don't know if it's necessarily regulated by like the temperature and like the seasons per se, but it's totally possible that our ancestors started having like feasts around this time because it was going to get cold and because we needed to stay warm. But
Well, look at Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving was a big thing of eat all this food because that's when the harvest was. So it's kind of in our nature that we know that this is harvest time. We know that food's aplenty right about now, and it ain't going to be aplenty in about 2 months. So
right. If
is
we
there
were
some kind of relationship to it?
I think it's definitely possible because at like back in those days, food probably wasn't as plentiful the rest of the year, not the whole year, but the winter. And now we can just like ship up some strawberries from California and we're fine. But like back then they were storing root crops like sweet potatoes and stuff in the cellar to try and like survive the winter. So they were like, okay, this is our last meal. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Colin, as a American, what's your answer to this question?
You got me with a tough one here. I can't plead the fifth, can I?
No.
No.
I want you to just go with your gut and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know, everyone's gonna be, a little bit different on how they, on how they handle this. I think it's gonna be, internalized on, their personality and their relationship, with food in general, or with relationships with people. So, if, you have like a good relationship with like your family and like your spouse, your kids, I think you might be, more disciplined, to not, overeat, this time of the year, especially, as opposed to, not having a good relationship because you might make more impulse decisions, depending on my mood for that day, I might end up, having like pizza.
Let's talk about these. I'm going to make a confession right here because I've only found out like 3 years ago that I'm out of the ordinary on this, which when you grow up in something, you think it's ordinary, but it's not. I'm going to talk about drinking and how it relates to the holidays. So my mom's family, who we hang out with often, doesn't drink. So I never knew it was a thing that people got slammed on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like everyone's just chugging and taking shots, like just trying to drink as much as they can because they can't tolerate their family. That was never our Thanksgiving. The most I ever saw was one person's having a beer, and then at Christmas, maybe when one person's having a beer. It's nothing crazy. And then I got older and people are like, oh, I'm so hungover, man. Christmas, Thanksgiving was rough. And I'm just like, what?
like, what were
You
you
guys
doing on
drink?
Thanksgiving?
Yeah. So typical American, Colin, is this your family? Are they just like, you were talking about that stress and getting everyone together? Is it like, let me just hit the booze real quick? Or are you with me on this and your family just didn't drink?
No, like my family does drink. I mean, they're all big like wine lovers. So it's like, all the aunts and like my mom, like everyone just like grabbing like a wine glass and they'll drink for hours. I don't touch booze because, when people start drinking, conversations start happening, and that's when tears start flying. At least I've seen personally. I try to avoid all that conflict. So, I'm sitting on the couch, usually watching football or basketball, minding my own business. And I'm not a huge drinker myself though, personally. So it makes it a bit easier, but to be around all the people that are like drinking and whatnot, I just stay away from that. You have fun. You have fun.
So your family is more like that. We're chugging some wine. I'm done drinking out of a glass. Give me the bottle.
It'll be either that. It'll be either chugging. Well, half my family will be chugging wine, The other half of them will just be, some of them are like really like health conscious. They like own gyms and like work out a lot. They'll be drinking, water. So it's there's like no in between. It's either water or wine.
I can relate to that for sure.
Heather, tell us, same question. Talk about how your family relates. And then I want to hear, there's gotta be some family dynamic where during the holidays, because I get it as a trainer, so you must get it trifold as a dietitian. You're just doing that because you're in the field. Stop criticizing me. Stop staring at what I'm eating. You're judging me with those eyes. So what's that like? And how does, like, talk about it as your family drink? And I know we all know alcohol makes you gain weight, but how can we help people not drink every weekend, twice a week from Thanksgiving to Christmas? That just feels like, or even more than that, it's like a Wednesday and it's a corporate party and they're just, I hate my boss.
I mean, I'd be slugging beers too if I was at a corporate holiday party, but
hey, I have great corporate parties. No, I don't know, maybe.
But my family doesn't drink either, actually, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you for this. Like, at least my immediate family that I spend like the majority of my holidays with, none of my parents don't drink, all of that. But I mean, obviously when I was growing up and going to like the bigger family parties, there would be alcohol there, but I would not like notice that people were slammed, Now I'm like old enough to drink and I'll like have a glass of wine with my extended family and it's like kind of nice, but it never got like too dramatic. It was more like the Thanksgiving Eve and like the going out with your friends during the holidays and looking at the pretty lights kind of a thing. But yeah. And as far as being a dietitian on Thanksgiving or at Christmas, whatever, my family honestly doesn't roast me too much about it. Like my dad's gonna eat what he's gonna eat no matter what, and he lives to eat good food and he's not going to regret it, and I respect that, and I'm not gonna diss him. But
the part where it is like, even though you're not disrespecting them, they think you are.
Yeah, no, I definitely do get that more at like work parties, and like at least in the past when I worked, like I used to work at Cracker Barrel for years, and so everyone else is yeah, exactly. I mean, I love me some Cracker Barrel too, but it's more like when you're surrounded by people who are not in the field when they get the comments. But if I'm like at a work party and I'm a dietitian and my friends are dietitians, it's like everyone's doing the same thing. So
secretly the dietitians meet up and are just eating shit the whole time.
Oh,
it's actually a cult.
My friend and I went to a local donut shop and we each got 6 over during Corona.
You each got 6 donuts.
We didn't eat them all in one sitting, but we were both like,
you.
oh, you don't believe me. Well, I actually I run a food porn account because like a while ago, I was like, man, I take some good food pics. I should like put these on the internet.
Well, you're going to share that with us if you still have it.
Yeah, of course.
Because all of our listeners are going to, and then we're going to see Colin's donut shop and everyone's just going to be chronically hungry.
Oops. Yeah. I mean, like, it's crazy because I didn't expect it to blow up. I was just like, oh, these are pretty. And now it has like 1,000 followers and I put no effort into it. I'm just like, here's a donut I had last week.
Because people love food.
People love it. My like, fitness Instagram, nope.
Yeah, I can't get through a session with a client without talking about food and then I'm hungry. You know that great steak I had last night? It's like, come on, man. I've been working for like 5 hours. I don't want to hear about steak and now I'm hungry. God, I want a steak. Like, that's where it goes.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all relate to. We all eat, and I'm not a big donut person, I'll be honest. I'm sorry, Colin.
That's good. No, I'm happy for you. I wish I was.
I'm not a big sweet person, and that's except baklava. That's my
your weakness right there.
What?
That's your weakness right there.
Yeah, I limit to once every 3 months though. So
precisely.
No, I try to. My birthday is the exception where you have like 6 pieces and then I want to kill myself afterwards. But yeah, totally an issue. Let's talk about this is something I kind of want to break down to a little bit. I know maybe it's a little off topic, but kind of relatable. So, Colin, this question's coming to you first, buddy. January, right? We just all from October, November, December went out drinking, partying. Oh my God, pumpkin pie. And then New Year's Eve, you're just like, last time. And then all of a sudden, January 1st, actually, realistically, it's like January 3rd now. But New Year's resolution and time to get healthy. Have you seen, well, two questions. First question, have you seen a dip in New Year's resolutions as opposed to being healthy, like I have seen? And second question, why does or doesn't those New Year's resolutions work?
I'll answer both of them right now. I think it's bullshit. I think we've been taught a lie our entire lives saying we got to wait till this first day of the year. We're going to change our entire lives because we decided to, because it's the rule. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can change your life any day you want to. Why do you got to wait till the first of the year to say, okay, I got to make $100,000 this year. I got to lose 50 pounds. I have to do this, do that. I mean, nothing's stopping you from changing your life except for you. So I think people that, relish in this idea that you have to, make a change to your life on New Year's Eve and toast it with your family. And it doesn't make sense to me. I used to believe in that when I was, like 13, but I'm older now. So that's one of those like myths. I don't think it should have ever been a thing. I think people should be taught that, if you want something, work for it. You don't have to wait for a certain day. I mean, if you want to have fun, don't wait till the weekend to have fun. You can have fun on a Monday. There's all these like things that we've been told that, don't make sense. It's just a matter, I think, of just like mindset.
So have you seen a dip with like your family and friends in this New Year's resolution thing? Because I've seen it in the gym. So I'm very curious to what you say.
Locally where I'm at, I think it's still the same. I think the gyms got overpopulated this past year. I saw like Planet Fitness and a few other gyms. There were more people that I saw, come like October, November and whatnot. But I want to see a dip. I haven't seen one yet. I'd like to see one. I like to see people more active, now than later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially the people are going to be out by January 20th. And you're like, come on, man. Do this or don't do this. Stop hocking the gym with 600 weights by your feet.
They're just like sitting
like
at the bench press. Yeah. Get off your phone at the bench.
No, my favorite is, no offense, Heather, whatsoever. I used to work at a big box gym. I'm not going to say the name, but I would work like the front desk, right? And these girls would come in. They'd go to the bathrooms first. They'd be in the bathrooms like 45 minutes. They come out of the bathroom because they just did their makeup. Yeah. This is before they worked out.
Wow.
And they go on the treadmill. They snap some selfies and then they leave. This was more than just one person. This was like, I just sat there like.
Selfies are anabolic. I mean.
You went to the gym to go do your makeup, to go take a selfie on a treadmill so you could tell your friends are working out. I'm the kind of guy that shows up in sweats. I don't give a shit what I look like, and leave me alone.
I don't know. I think there's value to like wearing a fun outfit to the gym. Like I was still wearing my fun outfits during quarantine when I was like flipping tires in my backyard because like, I don't know, it's just fun. But
I'm talking about just doing it just to go take a picture.
Oh yeah. That's a little much. I mean, I'm all for the gym selfies though. Like I love to hype people up and see their, flexing their little bicep, but they're probably just doing it for like January. Like
Yeah. I stopped. I used to be that kind of person that would post a lot of pictures. And then I was like, why am I doing this? I don't care. I don't need validation of how I look. I don't need
that's a good point.
Yeah.
It does become that like, oh, I want to look like I have abs on Instagram. And like, so what can I do for that? But
we've all been there. But I want to ask the same question asked Colin to you. Have you seen a dip? Is this just me? Do you see less people come January 1st wanting to get healthy? Because I can tell you the people I've talked to, it's become a stigma where someone says, I'm going to lose 25 pounds this week. And then everyone just laughs at them. Where that whole January New Year's resolution thing is like, we know you're not. Don't play with us. Ha 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 ha. Have you seen that dip, or is it just me?
No, I think you're right. I think there's been somewhat of a shift away from that, at least on January 1st. I don't know if it's because of the like stereotype that everyone fails by January 30th, or like if people are chasing different goals, starting different times, but definitely like I remember last year I went to the gym January 1st. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be packed. Like I'm preparing myself right now. And it was dead. I was like, oh, this is kind of nice, but what does this say? I don't know.
I don't even open until like 5 p.m. January 1st anymore
Yeah.
because it just no one comes.
Everyone's hungover, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like once upon a time it was packed, but maybe that's when I was like younger and I don't know.
It used to be, I'm going to say like 5-6 years ago was when it really
Yeah.
started that noticeable dip. And at the gyms, like you wait for it. Like, okay, when's it going to crack? You see a little uptick, don't get me wrong, but it was nothing the way it used to be, where you can't even get to a machine or a weight because there's so many freaking people in it. That's gone. And I think that's to relate to the stigma. I'm not sure, but I want to kind of jump into a little bit of yay diet. And then we'll start wrapping this thing up. But Colin, this year, right? We're rolling into December.
Yes, sir.
You are on the track you've been eating healthier, getting it going. How are you managing this year with your family? What kind of plans do you guys have going into the holidays? Do you have a bunch of events coming? What are you going to really stick to this diet? What's going to be your biggest vice going into it? Kind of talk all about the whole month of December, where your food's going to be and how you're going to conquer this month.
December, I'm going to be more focused on the beginning. I say beginning because come December 25th, I don't know what to expect. I have 4 Christmases coming up, and I already know this in the back of my head. I have 4 Christmases coming up within 2 days. Yep. The 24th and 25th, I will have 4 Christmases. So that means 4 different meals, most likely. So I have to pace myself. And not only I got to prepare myself in advance, because I know I'm probably going to go slightly overboard at one of those. But for now, it's just focusing on, on meal prep. I'm meal prepping, pretty much, every week, get my chicken in, get my broccoli in. I like the basic stuff. I know a lot of people don't like chicken broccoli. I enjoy it. I'm one of those weirdos that actually likes it. You can throw like fun seasonings on and whatnot. I don't find it an issue. But it's going to be stressful come, towards the end of the month. Once we hit those, because, my dad likes to make surf and turf. So here comes, like lobster, and here comes prime rib. So that's going to be a toughie for me. So that's definitely my weakness right there, is really good meat and really good fish.
I don't blame you. And what about your family in particular? Like you said, you have 2 kids, your wife. So how are they helping you? Or are they just supporting you and saying, Colin, I'm eating whatever the heck I want. I don't care what you say. What's that dynamic like?
Yeah. So, with my fiance, with me, I've said like, oh, if I have like a bad week, I'm going to revert back to my old ways. I don't have to like eat that donut or do this, do that. She's like, oh, sure. Cause I've done it so many times throughout the year, just going going back and forth and staying consistent, but, finally getting back into those ways now. And I've encouraged, maybe you should like try doing this, try doing that. She eats way healthier than I do, and she eats a lot less portions than I do. So I don't really have to worry about, her, kids wise. It's just, making sure I keep them to eat their fruits and vegetables every day. And it's going to be super tough, because once we come around to like, Christmas Day itself, it's going to be like nothing but like junk. So just kind of just keeping on track and just kind of like knowing in advance, like what to expect as far as like meals.
Yeah. And it's the Christmas cookies, I think, that get every kid.
Yeah. I'll allow it. I'll allow
it.
Heather, give us some advice going into the whole month of December. If you want to get scientific on this, go for it. If you want to keep it general, go for it. As a dietitian, what are you telling your clients? I mean, obviously on Christmas Day, it's a little tougher, but what kind of advice are you giving them? How are you directing them? And let's help as many people as we can to hopefully curve it a little bit. Maybe you gain 5 pounds instead of 7, something.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try my best. I don't know how scientific this part of it's going to get. We'll see. But basically, like, I know it's so boring to say, but it's all about balance. Like when you really get down to it, it's about like what Colin was just talking about, like having it together the most of the month. It's what you're consistent with that matters. So like 4 out of 7 days of the week, you're doing great. You're eating fruits and vegetables, you're eating whole grains, you're eating like your lean meats and everything. And then maybe you indulge at your company party and have a little donut or whatever. And it's just like not making those like holiday foods taboo such that you're like find yourself knee deep in a cheesecake, like in the corner, like, oh my God, I've been like depriving myself. I mean, at least for me and those who I've worked with, that's what works for them. Choosing water as a beverage as much as possible, like fills you up. It has no calories. It hydrates you. That's first and foremost the easiest thing you can do. And like focusing on making a large portion of your plate fruits and vegetables when possible is always a great idea. Those fill you up. But yeah, just getting in a consistent pattern is the most important thing to me.
So consistency and not worrying about the 1 or 2 days a week. And like we always say, it's not a cheat meal. It's a treat meal because you did such a great job.
Right. And like, it's not even like the cheat meal mentality can get so bad that you end up eating more on your cheat day. So I just like don't advise that. If you have a party on a Monday and you're like, oh no, but my cheat day is like Saturday, like just eat like a moderate amount at that event on Monday and then like go with your normal routine. It's so much better than being like, oh wait, like I have to save my entire week or 2 weeks worth of cravings to this one day. And then you're just shoveling cookies in your mouth all day long. Like I've been there and it's terrible. And I just don't want other people to think that's the best thing to do. But
or bodybuilder mentality. The holidays are bulking season.
It is bulking season.
So 6,000 calories a day, please eat as much as you can so I can get my 5x5s with no problem.
For the gains. Yeah.
For the gains. Strictly for those bicep pictures I'm posting on Instagram. No.
Yeah, you're gonna get a sick pump December 26th. Like,
look at this, bro. Yeah, I'm not diving into that much more. But last but not least, Colin, we'll start with you. Tell everyone how they can find you again. I know you said you want a donut shop. If you want to drop the name of it on here, do you guys deliver at all? Maybe people can reach out for that. You have a card shop. Give us all the deets, buddy.
Yeah. So I run a donut shop in Champaign, Illinois. Come check us out. It's Ye Old Donut Shop. YEOLDE. Ye Old. People say Ye Old Donut Shop. Very, very good donuts. Would recommend 10 out of 10. And then I also run a Facebook sports cards group. It's called House of Wax Sports Card Community. You can find me there. We do all kinds of sports cards, football, basketball, baseball, you name it, we got it. And then you can find me on Instagram at Colin, Colin, DEBLOUWE.
Awesome. And Heather, same question, girl. Why don't you tell us where everyone can find you and stuff like that? And if you're doing virtual telehealth, that's also important.
Yeah. So I am looking to take on clients. I'm still in grad school, so I don't have anything completely hashed out yet, but you can like slide into my DMs and we can set something up. For now, I'm kind of doing it informally, but my Instagram is at Heather FALISE Health. And I also have my own podcast with another registered dietitian. We're talking nutrition myths. We're talking, all the hottest things in nutrition. It's called Nutrition Mythbusters on iTunes and Spotify. And last but not least, my food porn account is at CNY Donuts and Fries. You can look at that for some.
And you're going to put pictures of his donuts on.
Yeah, if I'm ever in Illinois, collab.
Have him snap some pictures, send it to you, and it could be like, Ye Old Donuts.
Yeah. You totally can. Yes.
That's what this is all about. And guys, please, last point of just, it's the holidays. We're not, trainers, dietitians, any person you could think of. We're not going to say, oh, eat strict every day. Enjoy yourself. That doesn't mean don't work out. That doesn't mean don't be health conscious to a little bit, where like Heather gave some great pointers. But thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Health and Fitness Redefined. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and join us next week as we dive deeper into this ever-changing field. And remember, fitness is a journey, not a destination. Thanks for coming on, guys. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate you.